Yellow, green, blue, how are you? So today I just kind of want to share a little bit of, I guess, a quote from the series Vinland Saga, written by Makoto Yukimura, which is a brilliant man, amazing writer. Basically, this quote is just one that really spoke to me and kind of helped me look at life from a very different perspective when it came to the validation of others, I guess. Now, to preface this, we got two characters here, which is a drunken priest and Prince Canute. Now, Prince Canute has been sent on a mission by his father, the king, and in this mission, things are extremely orchestrated so that Canute will inevitably lose his life. And that's just through different power struggles so that the king can choose who truly gets the throne after him. Because he doesn't want it to go to Canute, because he doesn't think Canute, who has a pure heart, and mainly, he looks at his son as too soft, so he doesn't want his son to have the throne. Now, throughout this journey, Canute is kidnapped. Canute gets kidnapped, and the priest is also within that kidnapping, and his main protector, named Ragnar, loses his life. Now, this is devastating to the prince because he believed that Ragnar was the only person in this world that truly loved him. But the priest is trying to get him to understand what the true meaning of love is. And even like the Vikings, through the kidnapping, the Vikings are trying to harass the priest into understanding their version of love, where the Vikings do not understand what love is. They believe, you know, the glory of battle through violence and power struggle, that they need to reach Valhalla. That's what they think it is. But the priest just tells them the whole time that they're wrong. It's kind of great because he's drunk the whole time, and they're just like, well, why are you drinking? And I think it's the only way that the priest can feel connected to God, so he just continues to drink. I thought I had to sneeze. Didn't have to sneeze. So, I want to start, about here. So Canute begins. You are saying that the essence of love is death? And the priest answers him, yes. Then the emotion a father feels for his child, what a husband and wife feel for each other, what Ragnar felt for me, what is that? And the priest answers him, discrimination. It is hardly different from the way one swears fealty to a king or whips a slave. And he continues, to Lord Ragnar, your life was more important than anyone else's, more important than his own, I suspect. For the sake of your one life, he allowed 62 to be sacrificed. He discriminated. And then Canute takes his attention away from the priest and looks off to the distance. He says, I see. I think I understand now. It's as though the mist enshrouding me has been lifted. Now he reaches down, he picks up a handful of snow. This snow is love. And it caught the priest's attention. The priest says, that is correct. While looking off in the distance, he says, the sky, the sun, the breeze that blows, the trees, the mountains. Now Prince Canute's fallen to his knees. And yet, how can this be? The world, God's divine creation, is so brimming with love, yet there is no love in the hearts of men. Now, he's mainly speaking about the Vikings and the warriors that have surrounded him his whole life. I don't want anyone to think that, there is no love in the world and that there is no purely intentional people. But in this instance, technically, Prince Canute is the pure-hearted one. And through all of these trials, through everything that he's seen and been through, he kind of takes this definition of love, because he gets it, but he takes it the wrong way. He ends up resenting everything that he's been through. He ends up resenting God, and he seeks to basically take everything he's been through, internalize it, and project it out onto the world to then gain power for himself. And it's because he thinks that is the right way. But it leads him down a terrible path, unfortunately. It's very unfortunate to see by the end. But his parallel character, which is the main character of the series, Thorfinn, technically goes through the same lesson and takes it the other way. Whereas Thorfinn more so sees, though, because Thorfinn lived opposite of that, where he was lost in a cycle of revenge, hate, violence, and he thought he was doing the right thing by seeking all of these things. But then by the end, when it's not even the end, by like midpoint, when Thorfinn finally gets his revenge, he sees that it means absolutely nothing. And this leads Thorfinn to, instead of do what Canute did, do the opposite, where he seeks a more peaceful resolution to everything and seeks to create basically a world where violence isn't needed to come to any kind of resolution. Whereas, yes, Thorfinn still does use violence later in the series to solve resolutions. It's always a last resort sort of thing, and it's usually when lives are at stake. Whereas Canute basically takes everything that was done to him and then projects it back outward into the world, leading him down a very guilty path, which is never the way. But what that quote really did for me, and like how I interpreted it, was to not necessarily seek validation outside of myself. Whereas like you can sometimes, you can look for validation in other people and love in other people, but you'll never truly know how to love anybody if you don't first learn how to love yourself. And that's kind of the main point of it all. Really? That's how I interpreted that quote, and that's kind of how I took it. But yeah, I hope this helps anybody out there struggling. Again, just that I don't want anyone to think like there is no love in the hearts of men, because that's not true. That's just how Canute sees it through everything that he's done. And it's a very unfortunate turn of events, because then he starts very much seeking to control everything around him. But again, you'll never love anybody if you never learn how to love yourself. I guess that's about it for today, and I'll see you guys next time.